There exists a type of mind rarely understood, even more rarely seen, a mind that does not walk the world with certainty, but feels its way through like one listening to a melody that others cannot hear. It does not belong to the realm of the obvious, the measurable, or the loud. Instead, it lives at the edge of perception, where silence speaks and symbols breathe. This is the intuitive soul. To encounter this type is not always to recognize them. They blend into the background, quiet, observant, often misunderstood, not because they lack clarity, but because their clarity is invisible. Their knowing does not come from facts or from logic. It emerges like mist from a deeper source. Their perception is nonlinear. Their thoughts unfold like dreams, not diagrams. What they sense cannot always be explained, and often it isn't. Because the world demands explanations they are not here to provide. The intuitive soul moves through life with an internal compass tuned to another frequency. What others see as coincidences, they experience as patterns. What others feel as minor dissonance, they receive as signs. Their life is a series of whispers, subtle impressions, hunches, and images that push up from the depths like ancient seeds returning to light. But to live in this way is not without cost. Imagine trying to describe the shape of a shadow or the taste of silence. This is what it feels like to explain intuition. The world we live in prioritizes logic, results, documentation. We want to see data, we want to test hypotheses, we want clarity on a spreadsheet. But the intuitive soul doesn't work that way. They don't know. In a traditional sense, they sense. Before a decision is made, before an event occurs, before the first ripple on the surface, they've already felt the shift underneath. It's like walking ahead of time. In relationships, this can manifest as sensing someone's hidden pain before they speak. In society, it can appear as a subtle awareness that the cultural winds are changing, long before the banners are raised. In art or philosophy, it takes the shape of insight with no apparent source, a feeling that the truth is behind the curtain, not on the stage. But when these intuitions are shared, they are often dismissed. You're imagining things, that's not logical, where's the evidence? So they learn to stay quiet, to hold the insight inside, and that is where the danger begins. Thoughts that are not expressed don't simply vanish, they collect. Feelings that are not translated into language turn into tension. Symbols that are not released into the world begin to grow roots in the mind, pushing deeper, growing wilder. The intuitive soul becomes like a house with too many mirrors, each reflection bending into the next, until it's unclear what is real. This internal complexity, if not grounded, can turn against itself. Images become obsessions, visions become compulsions, and the border between insight and illusion begins to blur. They may begin to ask themselves, is this truth, or just my imagination? And without a way to share or embody what they perceive, the mind becomes a closed loop, echoing the same mysteries without resolution. This is not madness, this is not delusion, it is the weight of unspoken depth. But when this weight is not channeled, it starts to fracture the self. You see, intuitive minds operate symbolically. They perceive in metaphors, in dreams, in sudden knowing. But symbols are not meant to remain internal. They are meant to be integrated. A symbol is not just an image. It is a bridge between the known and the unknown, between the conscious and the unconscious. When we ignore this bridge, it doesn't disappear. It just becomes unstable. That's why so many deeply intuitive individuals struggle with grounding. The body feels foreign. Time feels artificial. Routines feel like chains. The mundane world appears gray, drained of significance. Yet this disconnection is precisely what endangers them. The mind begins to compensate, often with grandeur. They may feel they've been chosen for something extraordinary, not from arrogance, but from a desperate attempt to explain the overwhelming flow of internal meaning. And so what began as sensitivity transforms into solitude. What began as insight turns into exile. This is not a path of failure. It is a moment of threshold. There is, however, a way through, and it begins with expression. The intuitive mind must create, not for fame, not even for understanding, but for survival, whether through writing, music, movement, sculpture, or simple speech. The inner world must be given form. It must exit the mind and enter the world. This is not optional, it is vital, because expression is integration. It allows the formless to become visible. It gives the psyche relief, a place to release, reflect, and reassemble. The intuitive soul, when expressing, stops being a vessel of endless mystery and becomes a channel of meaningful insight. This is what turns vision into visionaries, what turns intuition into impact. Throughout history, there have been those who managed to do just this. People who lived at the threshold and gave the world a window into the invisible. Their genius was not in their intellect alone, but in their courage to bring forth what others could not see. But not every act of expression must change the world. Sometimes it simply changes the self. Still, expression alone is not enough. The other half of this journey is learning how to return to the body. The intuitive soul often sees the physical world as a lower realm, too slow, too dense, too loud. But in truth, it is the only place the symbol can land. Grounding is not an abandonment of intuition. It is what allows intuition to thrive. The body is the canvas, the routine is the frame, the ordinary is what holds the extraordinary. Simple acts can restore balance, preparing a meal with care, walking barefoot on the earth, practicing breathwork, stretching in silence, tending to a garden, watching the way sunlight hits a wall. These are not small things, they are acts of spiritual architecture. They remind the psyche, you are here, you are safe, you are whole, and in that safety the visions become clearer, the insights less overwhelming. The self more stable. To be intuitive is to live in two realities, the inner and the outer, the invisible and the visible, the emerging and the established. This is a gift, but also a responsibility. The challenge is to not abandon one for the other, to not lose the thread of vision in the noise of the world, nor to dissolve into abstraction and lose touch with life. The wise, intuitive walks between worlds, not escaping one, not clinging to the other, but weaving them together with presence and patience. They do not seek recognition. They do not need approval. What they bring is not meant for the crowd. It is meant for those who are ready to see with more than just their eyes. And even if the world does not understand them, their very being reveals a truth. There is more to life than what is measured. There is depth in silence. There is power in stillness. There is wisdom in the unseen. So what does it mean to live symbolically in a pragmatic world? It means choosing depth over speed. It means honoring intuition even when it doesn't make sense. It means creating without certainty and speaking without proof. It is the refusal to flatten yourself to fit into a narrow mold. It is the gentle defiance of staying true to what only you can see, and it is a quiet act of service, not to society's demands, but to the soul's call. The intuitive path is not easy, it is not linear, it is not often celebrated, but for those who walk it with integrity and presence, it becomes a sacred crossing, one that opens the world, not just for themselves, but for others who also live at the edge of what is known. If you've made it this far, chances are you carry this sensitivity, this knowing, this quiet way of moving through life. And if you do, you're not alone. Tell us in the comments, how do you stay anchored in a world that moves too fast? How do you express what cannot be explained? Let your voice be part of this quiet constellation. And don't forget to watch the next episode. We'll be diving deeper into how dreams, rituals, and inner images shape not only the psyche, but the future of our collective soul. See you there. Among the myriad psychological archetypes, there exists a unique figure, the introverted intuitive. This individual is not merely introspective, but is deeply attuned to the undercurrents of the psyche, perceiving meanings and patterns that elude the ordinary observer. Their orientation is not towards the external world of tangible facts, but towards an internal realm rich with symbols, archetypes, and premonitions. This type is often misunderstood, even by themselves. Their insights emerge not from linear reasoning, but from a profound inner knowing. They sense the unfolding of events before they manifest, perceiving the invisible threads that connect disparate elements into a cohesive whole. This capacity to foresee and understand the intangible makes them akin to modern day seers, navigating life guided by an inner compass that points towards potentialities rather than certainties. The challenge of expression, however, this deep, seated intuition presents a challenge: articulation. The introverted intuitive's insights are often abstract, lacking concrete form or immediate applicability. When they attempt to share their perceptions, they may be met with confusion or skepticism. The world, favoring empirical evidence and logical reasoning, often dismisses their contributions as fanciful or irrelevant. This disconnect can lead to a sense of isolation. The introverted intuitive may retreat further into their inner world, finding solace in solitude but also risking disconnection from reality. Without avenues for expression, their rich inner life can become a source of turmoil rather than inspiration. The necessity of integration for the introverted intuitive, integration is essential. Their insights must find expression to avoid becoming overwhelming. Creative outlets such as writing, art, or music can serve as bridges between their internal experiences and the external world. Through these mediums, they can translate their visions into forms that others can engage with, fostering understanding and connection. Moreover, grounding practices are vital. Engaging with the physical world through activities like gardening, cooking, or physical exercise can help balance their abstract tendencies. These practices anchor them in the present, providing a counterbalance to their propensity for introspection and abstraction. The risk of inflation without integration. The introverted intuitive risks psychological inflation. They may begin to identify too closely with their inner visions, perceiving themselves as uniquely enlightened or chosen. This over-identification can lead to a detachment from reality, where they become ensnared in their own narratives, losing the ability to discern between insight and delusion. Such a state is perilous. The individual may become resistant to feedback, viewing dissent as a threat to their perceived truth. Relationships can suffer, and their capacity to function in the world may diminish. Recognizing this risk is the first step towards maintaining balance and ensuring that their intuition serves as a guide rather than a trap. The path to wholeness, achieving wholeness, requires the introverted intuitive to embrace both their inner world and the external reality. This involves cultivating discernment, learning to evaluate their insights critically, and seeking feedback from trusted individuals. Engaging with diverse perspectives can challenge their assumptions and foster growth. Additionally, developing auxiliary cognitive functions, such as thinking or feeling, can provide structure to their intuition. By integrating these functions, they can assess the implications of their insights, consider ethical dimensions, and make informed decisions. This holistic approach enables them to navigate life with both depth and practicality. The contribution to society, when balanced, the introverted intuitive offers invaluable contributions to society. Their capacity to perceive underlying patterns and envision future possibilities equips them to be innovators, visionaries, and catalysts for change. They can inspire others to look beyond the surface, to question assumptions, and to explore new paradigms. Their insights can inform various fields, from the arts and sciences to philosophy and spirituality. By articulating their visions, they can challenge the status quo and encourage collective evolution. Their unique perspective serves as a reminder of the richness of the human experience and the importance of honoring the unseen dimensions of life. Embracing the journey for the introverted intuitive, the journey is one of continual balance. It involves honoring their inner world while engaging with the external, expressing their insights while remaining open to feedback, and pursuing depth while maintaining grounding. This path is not without challenges, but it offers profound rewards. By embracing their nature and committing to integration, they can transform their inner visions into contributions that enrich both their lives and the broader community. Their journey underscores the value of introspection, the power of intuition, and the importance of bringing the unseen into the light. Conclusion: the introverted intuitive stands as a testament to the complexity and depth of the human psyche. Their journey illustrates the interplay between inner perception and outer reality, highlighting the necessity of balance, expression, and integration. In a world that often prioritizes the tangible, Their presence serves as a reminder of the unseen forces that shape our experiences and the potential that lies within the depths of the human soul.